All right, what is going on, everybody? Quancredible here, bringing you another Black Clover video. Actually, I didn't intend on doing a Black Clover video today, but that's just kind of how it worked out. So, hope you guys enjoy it. Today we are going back to everyone's favorite friend, tier list maker, but it's not necessarily a tier list though. This is kind of different. I'm going to be ranking all of the Black Bulls in order of best to worst written. So like at the very top, it'll be like the characters that, in my personal opinion, I know that's a very scary thing for a lot of people right now, but just bear with me. In my personal opinion, that are the best written Black Bull members, and at the very bottom will be the characters that I think are not very good written characters. So that's just that's just what it's going to be. Now, as I touched on it earlier, but I'm going to reiterate. In my opinion, if you feel differently about it, that is okay. Let me know what you disagree with or what you think it is in the comments, and we can talk about it. It'll be cool, it'll be fun, and all that good stuff. Now, I know there's probably people already worried, like, oh, Quan, you're going to do Charmy dirty. Oh, Quan, don't even, just wait until I get into it. And I haven't done any forethought into this. I'm just kind of just going to go in, like, relatively fresh, because I wanted this to be fresh. So, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun time. Boom. So I know we got the tier list maker. I'm definitely gonna change these tiers, maybe, possibly, at some point. I just want to get somebody down though. I already know, right here. Let's go, Henry. Henry. People like Henry, but I actually do not like Henry, and this isn't a like tier list. I understand that, but like this is like best written versus not well written, and like Henry has a backstory, but like it's kind of mid. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's kind of mid. You know, cursed, trapped in this house or whatever. I wasn't a big fan of it, and how I feel about it personally doesn't really reflect on if it's good or not. But I just feel like I may be being hard on him. I may be being a little bit hard on him, but I think him as a character is below average written for a side character. He might move up. I doubt it, but you know. I'm gonna do Zora. Zora's next. Honestly, I want to say Zora is one of the best written characters in the Black Bulls, but I can't put him there, unfortunately. He's gonna stay here, and he's gonna be an A tier just because the main thing with Zora, his backstory, phenomenal. With how, you know, he was young, appreciated his dad. You know, his dad kind of passed away, or not kind of. His dad got murdered. I tried to play it off. His dad got murdered by his own squad, so Zora's, you know, kind of dedicated life to being this kind of like vigilante type guy, which is awesome. And then even his growth just within the Crystal Knight exam arc was amazing. However, that is literally all Zora has really gotten. I'm not even sure if Tabata even remembers who Zora is, because granted, he did come back recently, but it just kind of sucks that he doesn't really get a lot of shine. Like, he just doesn't. He isn't getting much use in the story at all, and that's really tough for Zora, honestly. Like, it's just like I wish he was utilized more, because he's a really cool character. Um, Next person I'm going to do, I'm gonna say Finral for this. No, I'm gonna do Finral. Finral's S tier. I don't care. Finral's amazing. I'm gonna change this to like really well written. I know I said really well written, but I changed my mind and made it best written. This would be best. He's in the top of the best written tiers in the Black Bulls, just because like Finral, from like where we got him. I made a whole. Well, it wasn't really about Finral. It was about someone else, about Yami, but made a whole video about Finral and his brother, and another video where I reference Finral a lot and why he's one of the best written characters in the story in general to me. So I really think Finral is like top plus amazing written character, just from like being a coward to being useful to wanting to train to more taking a more front role than he has or than he ever would. Finral's development was awesome, and his backstory was good too. Gauche. Gauche is weird because he's misunderstood. He's a very misunderstood character, which would immediately make people say that he's like really bad or like even worse than bad. But like, he's actually really not a bad written character. Like, I would honestly say he's probably. It just sucks. So the Black Bulls have like some pretty some pretty decent characters. But I honestly think Gauche is definitely above average. This tier is going to be the above average. Yeah, Gauche is above average. His whole backstory with, you know, he does have ties to Gray's backstory, which is really interesting to see, because he has like, you know, that overall presence in the world. It helps like world building, but his main stuff with his house falling, making sure that he's like the main person to take care of Marie, and then growing from being solely focused on just himself and his family to appreciating Asta as well as by extension the rest of the Black Bulls and Gray and all that. It's honestly, Gauche had a nice little come up, so I think his is above average. The sister thing is weird. Like, don't get me wrong, but I honestly don't think it's as bad as a lot of people make it out to be. I feel like people like perverse it for some reason, like when it really doesn't need to be. Now, as for the very next character we're gonna do, that's gonna be Nacht. Nacht, easily one of the best written characters. I literally just did a video on him. What was that, yesterday? I think. Nacht, his backstory is. I'm not gonna spoil you if you're not caught up in the manga. His backstory, amazing. Presence in the current story, amazing. Abilities are cool. He's just a cool character on top of that. Like, Nacht has a lot of things going on for him. Now, I will say, I kind of dislike the fact that he's like, when I first seen him, or when we first now getting introduced to him, I kind of thought he was like another Zora. But honestly, they have enough differences, and of course their backstories are very different. Their person, they show lots of similarities, but they're really different at the exact same time. Alright, bam, I fleshed out the tiers a little bit more just because like I felt it was the letters were bothering me. The letters were starting to bother me, honestly. Next up we have Gordon. Now Gordon, he gets a lot of hate because he's weird, and I personally, same as Henry, am not fond of Gordon, but like we don't even have a backstory for this guy. I mean, we do know a lot about his personality and kind of how he's grown more open to people in general, especially within the Black Bulls, which is, like amazing for him, obviously. But again, Tabata really hasn't taken a lot of time to flesh out Gordon at all. Granted, I understand how his magic works would have made him kind of difficult to write into a lot of certain spaces. Like if you remember back to the Underwater Sea Temple, Gordon was the only, Black Bull that was currently at the base that was left behind. If you think about it, Gordon in a team fight, Vetto would have died. Like, he has poison magic. Like, Vetto would have actually just died. Like, as long as they could have just protected Gordon while Gordon poisoned Vetto, I don't see any reason why that fight would have been like way easier than what it was. At least that's just my opinion. So, but aside from like that being said, Gordon himself just hasn't been expanded upon a lot. So he just has to sit down here, unfortunately. Moving on through the list, we do have our main character being Asta. Now, Asta, a lot of people would probably say he's best written, but I just think Asta's really good. Like, he's just really good to me. We already know Asta's backstory. We know, like, pretty much everything about him outside of his, like, true origins. Well, actually, no, we kind of have his true origins. So, like, I don't know. We kind of have everything on Asta. He's not a super deep character, and that's okay. Like, every character doesn't need to be super deep. He's kind of just who he is. He reminds me a lot of Luffy. I know I feel like I refer to One Piece a lot, but he reminds me a lot of Luffy, whereas Asta is just himself, and he himself affects other characters in the story and makes them change and become different or better. So like, he's one of them kind of characters where he himself on the inside doesn't necessarily have to change all like that to have lots of impact in the story. So that's why I think he's really good. And I kind of feel the same way about the next character, Yami. Yami is so important to so many characters, honestly, because Yami, it's so weird, because like, I don't want to say Yami is one of the best written characters in the Black Bulls, which is a hot take in itself, but the thing with Yami is like, ooh, I don't know, yeah, maybe, because I feel like Zora's a little, oh, this is tough. This is really tough. My opinion on Yami has definitely changed over time, but like, the main thing with Yami is Yami, just like Asta, affects so many characters in the story, and like there's still so much more we don't know about Yami despite getting him like his own telling of his backstory. So it does be one of the things where if Yami stays around in the story, he'll definitely probably have even more relevance to more characters in the future. Oh wait, no, not even. That's the thing with Yami. Even if he dies, there's still so many characters that probably were impacted by him, be it like captains, like the Black Bull members themselves. Who else knows who could be out there? There's still a connection with the Suns. Like, Yami's place in the story is really invaluable. Plus, Yami's he's a really likable guy. I would definitely think he's a better character than Asta. Honestly, the gap between him and Zora is not that large for me, but Yami's definitely up there. By the way, these are going to be ordered. I just decided that right now. These are going to be ordered. Next up, we have Noelle. Noelle, easily one of the better characters in Black Clover. Like, for sure. Just in Black Clover in general. Like, I may have... Her and Nacht might be like a tie. Like, Nacht and Noelle are definitively better than Yami. But I still have Finral over those two. But Noelle, her growth. Oh my gosh. Noelle's growth and what she came from. You can ask nothing more from a female shonen lead. You really can't. You really can't ask for anything more. So I got Noelle as a really good character. Or no, not really good, but best written. One of the best written in the squad. Next up, we do have Vanessa. Vanessa. Her backstory with the Witch Queen and breaking free, becoming her own person. You know, she was majorly affected by Yami, just like how Zora or Gauche was, or Asta or Finral, and like everybody, or not everybody was affected by Yami on this list so far. So like, that doesn't really boost her up or down, in my opinion. And like after the Witch's Force, when she came to terms with, you know, the Witch Queen and like grew her own power, that was kind of nice. But after that, she really hasn't been used. So honestly, she's kind of average. She kind of sits in average for me. I like Vanessa, don't get me wrong, but she just kind of sits in average. Luck's backstory with his mom was very interesting. We still don't have anything on Luck's father, which doesn't really have much to do with him, but it could lead us to a little bit more information about Luck as a character, despite we kind of know that he got his personality from how his mom raised him. I think Luck is lacking like lots of... well, no, he did have his moment with the elves in the elf resurrection arc, where I was like a big character growth moment for Luck. Him like asking if he could still be friends with the Black Bulls. But at the same time, outside of that, like he would be at the bottom of really good or at the top of above average, honestly. I'm gonna leave him in the top of above average for now, and I might move him later. This one actually might move. Gray, despite actually having a fleshed out backstory, I did not care for it because it was just kind of meh. I mean, all it did was just show her origin, and that was kind of it. Like, I mean, Gray has grown to like appreciate, like be more comfortable with herself, like, you know, cherish her squad mates and all that stuff. You can make this. She made a lot of the same. Honestly, like Gauche, Gray, and Gordon have made a lot of the same progress, honestly. So, but outside of that, she doesn't have. It's not like she really changed that much. She just grew more comfortable with herself, if that makes sense. I'm gonna leave her an average. She's definitely below Vanessa for sure, but still above these two at the bottom because I really don't like these guys. I'm skip Charmy for now. I'm skipping Charmy for now. Magna's weird. Actually, no, Magna's not really. He's not weird. He's really straightforward. The anime did a really good job at fleshing out more of Magna's backstory. I mean, the manga did a little bit, but not nearly as well as the anime did, which gave us like some like understanding of more of him as a character, as well as how Magna has grown stronger throughout the story. Obviously, my manga readers know exactly what I'm talking about, but you know, if I had to, like, honestly, it's not anything super crazy. I definitely think he's better than like Vanessa and like Gray. I mean, I guess his moments of feeling like weak in it, like him himself feeling weak and growing stronger, were really dope, but it wasn't a lot. Like Magna's character, I feel like did not change too much, honestly. Nero, despite her actually being pretty cool herself, I don't really think she's that well written, honestly. Like her backstory with Lumiere is more so about Lumiere, and she's kind of just there. Like Nero's backstory just explains the like why she's in the position she's in, and not really like we don't have a ton of context on her herself. And even her, I mean, her whole character arc is just her growing to think that Asta can become the Wizard King. And honestly, that's kind of mid, honestly. That's kind of mid. So I would have Henry over her, because Henry was literally ready to sacrifice his life for his squad, whereas Nero kind of really hasn't changed all that much. And now Charmy. This is the one I'm pretty sure lots of people have been waiting for. Where do people think I'm going to put Charmy? Now, I'm going to have to do it. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to do it. I feel like you guys knew it was coming. For Charmy. But Charmy, where'd I put it? Charmy's a gag character. I'm sorry, she is. Charmy, I don't see Charmy as like a super serious character like that. Like, outside of Charmy's connection to dwarves, I really don't think she holds much place in the story. I really don't. I truly do not think Charmy is all that much important to the story. I know a lot of people will disagree with me, but I'm not seeing it. Now, if I had to like, if somebody wants to be like, oh Quan, but like for real, where would you really place her? If I didn't place her here, I probably would place her down here with these guys because I don't really think she's that great of a character. Like we don't really know anything about her now. That's not innately her fault. I mean, Tabata could have fleshed her out better. Here we go. I know what I'll do. This will make everybody happy. I'll put her at the very top as gag character. She can be at the top of the list for gag character, while above everyone else. But no, Charmy is kind of a joke. She doesn't have serious growth. She doesn't. I mean, she does have, even her serious moments are like off of food and stuff like that. So I mean, granted, her in the Heart Kingdom was pretty serious for a moment there, but at the same time, it was just to protect the kingdom that gave her good food. So it's like, maybe in the future, Charmy might get some serious development. She might get an arc or something, but this feels right. But that is the tier list for best written characters in the Black Wolves. I know that a lot of people probably disagree with my list, and I would love to see what other people are thinking about or where you would put certain characters. Let me know all that down below. If you did watch the entire video, you're amazing. I want you to know you're a good person. You really are. Kudos to you. If you skip to the end just to see the tier list, you're horrible. I would have done the same thing, but you're still a bad person on the inside. You should be ashamed of yourself. Go back and watch the video. But no, in all seriousness, I do appreciate you guys' support. Make sure you guys like the video as well as subscribe to the channel for more content. I appreciate all the support all the same. You guys are awesome. That being said, enjoy the rest of you guys' day, and I'll see you all tomorrow for my next video.